Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. I hope you're all doing great and welcome to this new video right here on XRP. We're going to do a full update. We have to do a fundamental update, of course, after everything that happened yesterday. But we'll talk about the technicals as well. Technically yesterday, or before that actually already. I mean, Sunday we had actually broken down below the value area low right here at 2.1 as well. But yesterday it still looked quite likely that we would be able to get some sort of recovery and to get back into the value area we had up here, right? So that was around 2.2, 2.17. That's where we had value for the majority of June. And we had a good chance to get back into that. But then yesterday, obviously, we had fundamental escalation, and that pushed prices lower, all right? And that pushed prices lower with quite a lot of volume as well, as you can see yesterday afternoon. Which was something we've been talking about in almost every XRP video in the last couple of weeks, and something that I've said a lot and something that's still true right now is that this is a fundamentals market, right? So if we take a look at purely the technicals for XRP right here, what you can see is that this has happened before, right? I mean, we've seen this right here, the 28th of February, the 11th of March, we've dropped down to this level and a little bit lower during the, after the Liberation Day tariffs. So it's not the first time we see something like this. But what we always have to ask ourselves in a situation like this is, all right, well, most of the time it's actually a fundamentals driven move. My apologies, I have a little bit of my nose is acting up again, which is, I don't understand why, but okay. But every time that we saw a drop into this area, right, so when we're talking about this area, I'm talking about this area between 2.07 and 1.95, every time it was driven by fundamentals, except for the time we first broke above that right here in December. But then it was also driven by some market-specific fundamentals. But what we have to ask ourselves right now is, all right, well, are these fundamentals really bad enough to expect a real breakdown? And at this point of time, I would say that is too uncertain to start buying XRP right here, right? Because this is my XRP buy area. This is where I want to buy XRP. And I have started buying into Bitcoin, for example, right? Because Bitcoin entered my buy area as well. And Bitcoin, in my opinion, also had a pretty decent reaction to that support level. And XRP doesn't have that so far. We dropped down below the value area low right here at 2.07. We got a spike here from 1.95, which we spoke about yesterday as well as a possibility. So that's good. But I would say that given the uncertainty regarding the fundamental situation right now, the risk of a further drop down lower, so for me that would be a drop into this level right here between 1.75 and 1.6 again, where I will buy, by the way, if we for some reason drop down into the level, into that area between 1.7 and 1.6, I will buy XRP certainly. The thing is that at this point of time, I think the risk of dropping down into that level is too high. And what I'm now going to say might sound contradictory, but it isn't. I think the risk of dropping down into that area is too high, but I do think ultimately when you take a look at the market open of most fundamentals, when we're taking a look at Bitcoin here, I would still say that it is most likely though that we will hold this general area at 1.95 and $2. And that's, maybe we have to consolidate down here for a bit longer, but that we will still be able to get back into balance, or at least into the point of control of the previous balance right here at 2.17. All right, so I do think this is most likely, but there's no, I mean, if there's a risk of dropping down into that level, that this is most likely doesn't mean anything, right? Because there's no way to trade this. If I would have to set my stop loss, taking into account the potential risk of a further cascade down, my take profit should be at 2.6. And that is not a trade I want to take at this point of time. So I'd say this is most likely, but in the end, it's still very dependent on the fundamentals. So I'll keep you updated on that. For now, I think this is what you need to know. Take care, be safe in these markets, and bye.